Welcome back to another episode of Bits and Bytes, and in this episode we are going to be talking about dictionaries. And I know you must be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, really another episode on data types? We've already covered lists and tuples and sets and all that good stuff, and now we're talking about dictionaries. I know, not the most interesting content. However, in this video we're going to spice things up a little bit. We're going to use the YouTube API. We're going to scrape some data from PewDiePie's YouTube channel, and I'm going to show you how a developer or engineer at YouTube, or more appropriately maybe Google, would maybe use Python and various advanced indexing and methods as it pertains to dictionaries to update a content creator's channel statistics, things like their video count, their view count, their number of subscribers, and all that good jazz. So we are going to cover some of the basics first, and then we're going to transition into those more advanced techniques. But again, this is the video on dictionaries, and so if that's what you want to see, you are in the right place. If you appreciate the content, please go on ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that. And if there is any future content that you would like to see, you can leave those requests in the comments below. Also, with all of my videos, I do leave a link to the Google Colab notebook in the description below. So if you want to be able to reference back to this material, or if you want to follow along as we go through the exercise, go on ahead and grab that link now. Again, it's in the description below, and it's the Google Colab notebook. So again, thanks for watching. This is Bits and Bytes. Let's go on ahead and get started talking about dictionaries.
So what is a dictionary? A dictionary is created using key-value pairs. Keys in a dictionary must be of an immutable data type, so integers, floats, strings, even tuples can be keys in a dictionary. Your keys in a dictionary are always going to be unique, so you're never going to have duplicate values for your keys in your dictionary. In later versions of Python, dictionaries are ordered, and dictionaries are created using the curly braces and the key::value format. Note there are other ways to create dictionaries, but this is just the standard basic syntax for creating a dictionary. So, creating a dictionary, continuing on our previous examples, we're going to create the dictionary called groceries, and we are going to populate the dictionary with our keys on the left-hand side, separated by a colon, and our values on the right-hand side. When we run this code, we can verify that the type of data that we did create is a dictionary. And then when we output groceries, we can see the output here is the resulting dictionary. Next, we're going to talk about indexing on dictionaries, and this is just going to be very high level. When we get into the more advanced section below, when we scrape PewDiePie's YouTube data, we're going to go over some more advanced indexing techniques. But in this section, it's just high level. Indexing on dictionaries is different from indexing on other data types like lists or tuples or sets. The reason why it's different is because with dictionaries, we're not able to use numeric indexing. So as you might recall, if groceries were a list and we wanted to extract the element at position 1 from our grocery list, this would be the syntax we use. When we run that though, because groceries is a dictionary, we get a key error. And the reason why we get a key error is because in Python, with dictionaries, whatever value is inside the square brackets here, Python is searching the dictionary for that key. So there are no keys in our dictionary that are equal to the value of 1. So it returns that key error. And so to actually return a value from our grocery dictionary, we would specify the label for the actual key. We're not specifying the index position, we're specifying the actual label. And we'll see that for the label soap, the value returned is $2.99. Adding, updating, and deleting elements from our dictionary is very straightforward. So to add an element to our dictionary, we just specify the dictionary name, use the square brackets. The key is going to be inside those brackets, and then the value is going to be on the right-hand side of the equal sign. When we output groceries, we'll see that toothpaste is $4.99. If we wanted to change the value for toothpaste, we actually use the exact same syntax. And the reason why we use the exact same syntax is because dictionaries do not allow for duplicate keys. You might recall that I mentioned that in the beginning. So because we can't have duplicate keys, Python is just going to overwrite the value that we already have populated for toothpaste. When we run that, we can see that toothpaste is now $1.99 versus $4.99. To delete an element from our dictionary, we just use the delete command and we specify the key, and that will delete that key value pair from our grocery dictionary. We'll see that we no longer have apples. And then if we wanted to check and see how much this grocery haul is going to cost us, we can do sum groceries.values, and that'll output the actual value, or the sum of all of the values in our dictionary. And this method is one that we're going to cover below, but this method basically will extract all of the values from our dictionary. And as you can see here, we're now summing those values. To get the various methods that are available for any given data type, we can just use the built-in Python function dir and then insert the data type here, and that will return the various methods that are available for dictionaries in this example. Now, down below here, I'm basically going to go through each of these pertinent methods, and I will provide you an example, and then I provide you with a brief definition of what that method does. So for groceries.keys, that method returns a view object of all of the keys in our dictionary. So we can see all of our keys: apple, bacon, soap, watermelon, salads. Now the thing about this is a view object is not really a format or data element or type that's manipulatable. So in these following examples, I'm just converting those view objects to lists. So groceries.values would technically return a view object of the values in groceries. I'm just using the list function here to cast or convert it as a list. And we'll see the output is a list of all of the values in groceries. If we do the same below, but we're doing groceries.items, this returns a list of tuples for key value pairs in our dictionary. So each key value pair is its own tuple, and it is housed in a list. If we do groceries.clear, that just deletes everything in our grocery list or grocery dictionary. If we do groceries.get, the get method returns a value for a specified key if the key exists. So in this case, we are returning the value for apples. Now, you might be asking, how is this different from indexing? And it's different from indexing in that with an index, if you specify a key that doesn't exist, you get an error. With the method, if you specify a key that doesn't exist, you don't get an error. So it only returns the value for a specified key if the key exists. In this example, it is the pop method, and the pop method removes a key from the list if it's present, and it returns its value. So if we run that, we are popping apples off of our dictionary, and it returns the value here. And then I also print the dictionary after running that method, and we can see that apples no longer exist in our dictionary. And then in the last example for the various methods, we have pop item. Pop item removes the last key value pair in your dictionary and returns it as a tuple. We can see the last key value pair is salads, $14.98. We'll see that that is popped off of our dictionary and returned as a tuple. All right, in this section, we are getting into some of the more interesting stuff. We are going to be using YouTube scraped data to demonstrate advanced dictionary indexing and updating. And so what you're going to see here is how a company like YouTube might use various dictionary methods to update or delete a content creator's subscriber count, video count, channel statistics, etc. And we're going to be using PewDiePie's YouTube channel. So first we're going to scrape some data from his channel, and then we're going to manipulate that data that we have scraped. Now, I just want to preface this by saying that this video is not about how to scrape data from YouTube. I will create a separate video that demonstrates and explains that, and you'll see how to do it, just inadvertently in the code here, but I'm not going to spend time explaining it. This video is about how to manipulate that data using Python dictionaries and dictionary methods. All right, so let's go on ahead and get started here. And first we need the channel ID for whatever channel we're going to be scraping data from. And if we go to PewDiePie's homepage, we can get his channel ID right from the URL extension, basically. Drop that in here, and then we run this code, and this is going to extract the statistics portion from PewDiePie's channel, and it's going to save it to the variable my_dict. And then just to verify that this is a dictionary, we do type mydict, insert some white space, and then we output mydict. And we can see that here. Mydict is a dictionary, and this is what it looks like. We can see that PewDiePie's subscriber count is 109 million. He's got 4,300 videos, and then, a ton of views. And if we wanted to update this, so we're going to update this basically by merging two dictionaries. That's the first example I'm going to show you. It's how to update one dictionary by merging a second dictionary. And this is something that might be used in production. Let's say you're, a big company like YouTube. They're not going to have like just one copy of each person's data. They're going to have multiple copies of each person's data. And they do that for, protection. If there's ever an issue with their data, with their servers, if, something gets hacked or crashes, they've always got backups. And so they would have, multiple versions of this stored. And if they update one, then they want to update all of them. And so if they update one, then they would take that one that's being live, updated in a live environment, and they merge that with all of the others. So that's basically what we're doing here. So we can take this exact data, and all I did was take this and I copied it and then I pasted it down here, and we're assigning this to mydict2. But what we're doing with mydict2 is we're updating the subscriber count to 0, the video count to 0, and the view count to 0. And all of the other elements within this dictionary stay the same, but now we have mydict.update mydict2. And what this does is it merges mydict2 with mydict. And if we run that, we will see that mydict now has 0 for subscriber count, video count, and view count. All right, in that last example, I showed you how you can take the data from one dictionary and merge that data with another dictionary to have a resulting final updated dictionary. But what if you didn't want to deal with like multiple dictionaries? What if you just wanted to isolate a specific data element and update that specific data element? You can do that too, but you just have to understand how nested data elements work and have a pretty deep understanding of indexing and indexing on nested data elements. So that's what we're going to spend our time on next. And so first what we want to do is regenerate our dictionary. And so now we have all of our updated values here. They're not equal to 0 anymore. We've actually just re-queried that data from the YouTube API. And we're going to take this and we're actually just going to drop it into its own code chunk because it's going to make explainability that much easier. And then we want to update subscriber count. So how do we update subscriber count? We have to identify its position within this massive dictionary. And so that's what we're going to kind of work our way through next. I'm just going to talk you through step by step how we isolate that data element and how we update it. So you can see my code here. You can see that in order to update subscriber count to 0, we just do these things. But what's actually happening here? Let's break it down. So first, I'm going to overview, explain it to you, and then I'm going to take you through it step by step. We have a dictionary, and that dictionary has key value pairs. Key value, key value, key and value. Okay, so dictionary, it's always key value pairs. Now, the values in your dictionary aren't necessarily singular data elements. So sometimes the values in your dictionary can be a list. So that's what we have here. Within our items key, the value is a list. And that list is populated with a dictionary. So there's one element in that list, and that element is a dictionary. That dictionary, just like all dictionaries, is populated with key value pairs. You're probably sensing the pattern, all right? One of those key value pairs, we have the key statistics, And the value for statistics is another dictionary. And that dictionary is populated with more key value pairs. All right, so we basically have to isolate this key within this dictionary, within this dictionary, within this list, within this dictionary. All right, so let's do that. First, let's see what my dictionary is. All right, my dictionary is this whole thing. If we call my dictionary items, what happens next? We're going to get this. Looks about right, right? Items. We get this, okay? If we, now within my dictionary items, this is a list, okay? If I do type, I don't need to do this, but just to make my point, it's a list. So how do we index on a list? We use numeric indexing. But there's only one element in this list, and that element is a dictionary. And I'm walking you through this exactly how I walked through it when I was creating this exercise. So now, at index position 0, because Python uses zero-based indexing, we have our nested dictionary within our nested list, which is the value for the item's key within my dictionary. Next, we need to isolate the values for our statistics key. So let's go on ahead and do that. We'll see what that gives us. That gives us all of our statistics. Okay, all of the values for our statistics, and that value for our statistics key is a dictionary. And so now we're going to isolate the subscriber count key within that dictionary. And subscriber count's 109K. And now in this next step, we set that equal to 0. And you'll see that subscriber count is now equal to 0. So I hope that that kind of iterative approach helped you to not only get an understanding of what's happening here high level, but at each step of the way, what each of these various additional indexing steps is actually doing. And then we basically can do the same thing if we want to use the update method, and that is the example I provide here. We just basically go as deep as the nested statistics key, and then we update the value for that statistics key, and we're updating the subscriber count key to 500,000. And we'll see that my dictionary subscriber count is now 500,000. So two different ways to accomplish the same thing, whether it's with pure indexing or if you want to use a combination of indexing and the update method. That is how you update specific values within nested dictionaries, especially when you're dealing with more complex, more advanced data types and dictionaries.
That wraps up our video on dictionaries. I hope that you got some value out of that. I hope that that was interesting for you, maybe a little bit of a spin-off from what we've done in the past with our video on lists and our video on tuples, kind of mixed in a little bit of the web scraping there. Either way, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. If there's any future content you'd like to see, also please don't hesitate to leave those in the comments below as well. And if you enjoyed the content, I would appreciate it if you just hit that like button real quick and maybe subscribe to the channel if you want to see future videos that we release. Typically, we're going to release one video per week every Thursday. So again, thanks for watching. This is Bits and Bytes. Have a great rest of your day. And until next time, we're out.